Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to X Marks the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato, and I'm with my good friend Alice. How are you doing today, Alice?
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
uh, I think I think the autumn's really kicking my butt at the moment
Yeah, the
because
fall.
I think as the weather's like made a huge complete shock to me, just like how they did my plants around me, because I just ended up like getting really fatigued and
Yeah,
I just getting really burnt out. Like I've been doing like art every day for I think doing October at the moment, and I did so
yeah.
much of it that I didn't get a chance to write on my book. But I think there was some decent things going on in the moment. But then I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. I feel really burnt out as well. To be honest, it's literally we're nearly at 4 p.m. today, and I've literally only just really woke up properly. I got up earlier, but started watching, trying to catch up with Rick and Morty, and I played a little bit of Grounded, but I haven't really got much. I don't know. I feel like I got no energy. It's this weather. I think in the UK as well, where we're struggling financially, so I haven't got the
Yeah,
heating on or
because
anything, so it's freezing.
me me neither. But my flat is quite well insulated. However,
Yeah,
you talk about Grounded, and I did play a bit more. I'm starting to get used to the mechanics of it, and it's
yeah,
like,
it's fun.
it's really interesting. But it has
Should we?
still got a bit of a steep learning curve as well. So it's just like
Oh yeah,
it's it's just like yeah, I can definitely tell why it's important to like play with someone else because I imagine this game is a bit brutal. But at least it kind of
yeah,
forgives you for when you die because in Minecraft, all your items spread out, but if you die
yeah,
in Grounded, you just leave a backpack and you had to
yeah,
go back and retrieve that.
yeah, and it
So
also
that's kind of a bit cool.
And in Minecraft, I think it like disappears after like 10 minutes or something like that. Whereas the backpack, I died about a week ago. There's still some of my backpacks from like ages ago that are still there, so you can still get your stuff back from that as well. So I went too far out, and then I've not been able to get back there since. So I'm gonna have to try and get those backpacks back. So yeah, I mean that's what we've been playing as well. So like, I'm bringing that up to what we've been playing. Yeah, Grounded, loving it. Finally built my first house in Grounded. It's like at the beginning of the game you find that area with the three laser beams. It's like on a
Yes.
platform. So I built a wall around the side of that, so it's like a mini house, and then I built a bridge across to my actual two-story building, which has like a leaf roof and everything. It took me ages. So I've got a
Oh.
nice fancy house with like spit roasts at the bottom, and we've got chairs and multiple beds and stuff. All I've been doing is building. I haven't got that far into the story yet, to be honest. But now I
That's
have the ability.
clever.
Yeah, now I have the ability to build floors and roofs. I've built a decent house now, so
I
yeah,
got as far as like building walls around the science lab as well as a door, and it took me a long
yeah,
while to pick up the resources there. I finally got around to doing the split roast in the workshop, but then it just gets into a bigger challenge, and that's
yeah,
is getting water. I just keep
yes,
running out of water, and getting the dirty water from those puddles is never works. Then I found out
no,
that when it comes to getting water, you just have to get some dew from the grass, and you have to like
yeah,
use it to collect water. But it's also quite rare to find that, which is why you should find some way to store water, like having a canister or the storage tanks,
yeah.
and that
I
way you
still
can
haven't got
have
that
more
yet.
water in case you. Oh, you still haven't got that.
No, but yeah, I always do the do thing. I'll climb up the leaves, or I'll knock the bottom of the leaf so the dewdrop will fall off, and then chase it, and then drink the dewdrop. That usually is pure, so you don't get any. You don't get a bad stomach from drinking dirty water. You have just dewdrops. Oh, it's just so much fun though. I'm really enjoying it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's a
absolutely
bit
agree.
harder than
Because
Minecraft though, but I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I think the real problem is the steep learning curve. And the thing
Yeah,
is, you'll probably be ending up trying to learn so much things before you get on the story. Like
yeah,
you can't basically beeline through the story objectives and you just often find yourself trying to survive as much as you can. But
Yeah.
is it still ideal to try to play this with friends because of its like difficulty spikes and everything?
I mean, they recommend you play it with friends. We should probably play it at some point. I've still been playing it on my own. But yeah, I would like to play it with, get some people on. If you guys want to play online with me, add me on Xbox, Potato Chief. all the O's are zeros, and we can play some grounded. So yeah.
Does it allow only up to 4 players?
Yeah, I think so. 4 players.
Because I think you only get tied to one of the characters you play as in the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's a limitation there.
Yeah, what character did you pick? I picked the guy with glasses. I can't remember his name now. The nerdy one.
Bear with me. Just gonna go find out for the browser because let's see. I think none of us actually like.
Either.
No. Dear. Just trying to pick this. Yeah, you basically get to play as Pete, Max, Hoops, and Willow.
Yeah, Pete's who I picked. Who did you pick?
Willow.
Yeah, Willow's cool, yeah. So we need a Max and a Hoops to fill our team out. So we can survive. Yeah. The spiders are terrifying. Like, I shared a video on Twitter the other day. I was literally in my house, so I just left the house in the game. It's pitch black, and it literally, the leaves just moved apart, and a giant spider just dived at me and killed me instantly. It was like the most terrifying thing ever. I'm like, yep, I'm good. I'm good now. Like, pitch black, like a giant spider, like right inside my house, or just right outside my house. Terrifying.
Is it posted on your Potato Chief Twitter?
I think it's on our Xbox box Twitter, I believe.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to load this up because my internet is still bad and still not being sorted out.
I did a couple of days ago, so you probably won't be able to. You might be able to find it. It's on there. I posted a couple of days ago, but yeah, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And terrifying. Oh, there it is.
You found it.
Yeah, it is.
And was it on the Xbox box?
Yeah, it's on the Xbox box page 4 days ago. Yeah. So.
Oh.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I don't know if I should. I could probably share it in the video. I've got to try to remember to edit that in now. I've got a terrible memory when it comes to editing stuff.
That's alright. Don't blame you. So much videos, so little time. So. Okay, load. Oh, I got the video up. Oh, you just picked up a sap. Nice, well done.
Yeah, it just gets me.
Oh,
terrifying.
Oh,
absolutely terrifying. Oh, thank you. I'm done. I'm good for that. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, just trying to pick up that again, but oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa. So there's those weird sounds coming up of some sort. Oh my gosh, I just don't like those sounds when I was like playing it because it's like
scary.
Whoa. Or it just feels like it's either the big monster or
the spiders
something like that. And it's just like
the spiders are genuinely terrifying in that game. They scare the. It's like I can understand why they have arachnophobia mode on there. I just kept it off because I just wanted the authentic experience. But damn, they're scary. Like
well,
especially when they come out of nowhere like that, and pitch black.
Well, to be honest, I've been like filled in with lots of spiders there, but I think it's just really annoying. It's just like it gives you that more surreal environment. It gives you a different take on how you approach things. The game is very well designed. They got the right kind of theme, and I just love like how they just like get you mini-skilled, and somehow you have to work around with all those changes. Like you have to get water from the grass, and then you had to figure out how to store it.
Yeah.
And also you had to learn how to beat the spiders. But I just personally feel that the spiders are just so annoying because,
Oh yeah.
like, the spiders, you can, like, either you capture them and throw them out, or you just use a vacuum cleaner to clean them up. But in a game, it's just like, these are literally the Grim Reapers because
They're
the
terrifying.
minute you get caught by one, you just end up getting killed. I almost caught a spider in that big hole dead end there.
Yeah.
And it got trapped, so I tried to go work around the wall and just like kill the spider one by bit.
Yeah.
But then it escaped and killed me. So it's just like
they're
you just
you need a group of people to really kill them. Really, that's the thing. They're really tough. They're like the big baddies in this game, the giant spiders. Yeah. Not a fan of spiders. I mean, you saw my reaction to the spider heck, and that didn't even look like proper spiders.
yeah, because I think imagine if you played this on Twitch, it would be like an interesting experience. But
Oh yeah.
but yeah, it's just like really annoying because you just feel as if it constrains you, and you have to spend a good amount of time in the game on your own before you get to the point where you can kill a spider. But even so, it's just like you just end up trying to survive, and it's just as ridiculous as Don't Starve, which is another game where you had to go through, try to get some food, but you have to do as much as you can before the winter starts, and you have to keep yourself warm.
Yeah. Don't Starve's a hard survival game as well. I've played quite a few survival games. It's interesting. Yeah, and also there's a rumor of a new survival game coming out as well from CG Projekt Red, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, it's like I think Grounded's a pretty good start, pretty good survival game. It's a bit hard to get to get your grip on it, but as soon as you've got the basics, it becomes quite easy and quite fun. I really want to get further in it. We'll have to do some multiplayer soon, definitely do some multiplayer.
Oh yeah, most definite.
I've also been playing Overwatch 2 when I can actually get on there. I've only played like 2 matches, but yeah, it plays just like Overwatch 1. I don't really notice much difference, to be perfectly honest. I use Reinhardt. I put I played the mode where you gotta get the car into the other base by like basically territory. So I just stood on the car with my shield up like I always do with Reinhardt and basically knock people back whenever they try and get it. And basically I moved the car forward on my own essentially. I almost won the match on my own. Got an achievement for doing it as well. So
yeah. But yeah, and that's basically it. It just plays like Overwatch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not much. If you played Overwatch 1, you've played Overwatch 2. It's not much different. There's a different amount of players. I think it was 6 in Overwatch 1, and now it's 5. I think it's 5 versus 5 now, and it used to be 6 versus 6. That's the only real difference. And then obviously there's new characters, but it plays just like Overwatch 1. As I said, I literally did the exact same strategy I always used to do with Reinhardt, and it worked just fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, still use Reinhardt. Still enjoying it when I got to play it. As I said, there's a couple of times I went on there and it was literally like queues of like 5,000 people ahead of me. I'm like, well, I'm not playing that tonight.
Yeah,
then.
that's the problem because when it launched, you just have a huge queue, and quite often, like it's easy enough for me to get into the game. Then I just like, oh, there's 60, just waiting for like a minute or two.
Yeah.
I'll put a cup of tea on, and it's just like the queues get worse during the night, and it's just like it's just so hard to get into it. But when I just accessed it today, it's easy enough for me to get into there. Yeah. But it's just like
at launch as well. They had multiple DOS attacks, so multiple people hacking it and bringing it down. I don't know why people do that. It's like, what do you get from ruining people's experience? I don't understand why people do that. But children.
It's not just the queues though, because I only played one match because I was playing with Kurito or whether that new character from Overwatch who is the Kitsune user.
Yeah.
So you just like I've been playing as her, and it's alright healer, but then when I completed the game and unlocked the achievement, I was instantly logged off, and
Oh.
then I had to rejoin a queue, and it's like, oh, I can't be bothered with this.
Nah, yeah. I'll wait. I'm gonna give it a couple more weeks until it's like fixed properly, and then I'll probably play it properly. Yeah. Have you bought the battle pass? Because I haven't. I usually buy the battle pass when I want to play a game, but I'm not. I'm not fussed on it. It don't seem like this doesn't seem that impressive.
I was tempted to like get a battle pass and then get some extra coins to get one of the skins, and just thought like that game didn't really turn out well, so why spend on it? I've been duped like Halo Infinite, and somehow like I've been spending on it, and then the shop like the past 2 weeks they brought back the yapping bundles. And it's like, really? Like they literally have nothing nice to offer, and then you expect me to go on Twitch to get more drops? I mean, come on. And also it's just like as if they're dealing with their own infighting and having those issues, and when they could have been focusing on delivering content, then I'd have been spending on paladins when I thought, oh, it's really interesting, but then it's just like, oh, it's just like no point. Because I'm already getting the most out of juice out of it.
Also, I was thinking with Game Pass, with League of Legends and all that, they've struck a deal so you can get all the characters from League of Legends through Game Pass. I'm wondering when the ABK deal's done, when Xbox owns Activision Blizzard, if they will have it so if you can have all the characters if you have Game Pass as possible, because they've done it. They're doing it with League of Legends and all their type of games. So if they own Overwatch, I'm sure they could do that. So like have all the characters on Overwatch 2 on Game Pass. Possibly.
Yeah, that's a problem because like I owned Overwatch 1 on the PlayStation 4. I also own the Origins Edition on PC. So it should be able to transfer that ownership over, and I should have I'm entitled to access all the heroes. It's only if you like started Overwatch 2 and like, oh, you get some of the heroes and you have to work towards it. But when I popped into the game, I noticed that it got rid of Bastion, and apparently it's because the hero is broken due to carpet bombs.
Oh, all right.
And
weird.
And then there's Torbjorn, and there's one of the new Overwatch characters. They've been locked or somehow banned from being used in the ranked matches. And I'm like, really? I can't access all of my heroes. And they have a right to remove characters if they deem to be too powerful. Like, is this an authentic Overwatch experience when they obviously like have more control on how we deliver the content over to you? Like, this even gets even worse because, they changed the microtransactions instead of loot boxes. That's right. But the payment system is just, like, worse because it just seems as if it charges you more. Like, you pay extra for skins. And the ratio between the coins and the money is just a bit skewed. Like, as if you're paying more for extra coins. And I don't know if I had the chance to use the legacy coins just yet. And even worse is that you do the daily challenges, you do level up, but you do the weekly challenges and you get a tiny amount of coins, which is why you have to spend like a few years on it before you get enough coins to get a lot of the cosmetics for the character. It's like it's just that's like much worse than Halo 5 in terms of grinding.
Yeah. I think I heard that you need to play at least 100 matches to unlock all the characters now. I think that's what I heard, which seems ridiculous. I have Overwatch 1 as well on my Xbox, and I have it on Switch as well. So it's interesting. They have migrated my account over, I think. So I have access to most of the characters.
Yeah, actually, it did happen to me because I did go through and try to get those accounts working. And thankfully, they went from both my PlayStation and PC accounts, which means I got all the cosmetics that unlocked in Overwatch 2. And that's good. Also, it comes with an added benefit that I can like continue on whichever platform I go on,
Yeah.
because I stopped playing Overwatch when I moved over to Xbox. But now I can play Overwatch again because it allows cross progression and you get all the skins you got from different versions. So it's quite
Yeah.
good.
As I said, I'm hoping that when Xbox owns this game, because they will own it soon, that there will be some Game Pass perks as well, as I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. Like all the new characters are available on Game Pass, or you get like extra stuff every month, like they do with when they do with Halo. Like you get like new skins and stuff. I would like that. I would just like to have a bit more of an incentive to go and play it every month. Like if I got free stuff from Game Pass every month for Overwatch, I would totally play it every month just to get the new stuff.
Oh yeah,
I totally
absolutely.
would. So that's all I've been playing is Grounded and Overwatch. I played a little bit of Deathloop. I've kind of had my fill with Deathloop. I'm still enjoying it, but it's like I don't feel like I'm making any progress. It's the same 4 levels over and over and over again. It's enjoyable, but I've kind of got a bit. It's kind of getting a bit tedious a little bit now. I just want to try and get to the end, if anything. But yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
all I've played.
interesting.
Yeah, there's a story. There's an ending to the story, but I've literally played the same 4 levels like 10, 15 times now, and I don't know what I need to do to finish the game. I'm doing all the side objectives and stuff, and I'm hoping that'll unlock everything. So I'm still playing it when I get chance. But
Yeah.
mainly playing Grounded and playing a little bit of Overwatch. But yeah, is there anything else you've been playing this
Well,
week?
to me, I played a bit of Overwatch 2, but it gave me enough incentive to catch up with Paladins before they went
Yeah.
into a new battle pass. But now I'm just like saying, I just got a bit fed up with it, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I've been playing the same kind of modes, been grinding on bot matches to get through levels, and just beginning to feel like I get a little bit fed up because
All
I don't
right.
think there's enough variety going on, and just like, not so great. In fact,
Yeah.
it just makes me wonder if Overwatch 2 is going to catch up and I end up playing more of it. Because I think Paladins is like, you get actual matches and you don't have problems, except you have bugs with the whole game. And it also lacks the reasons for you to play more matches apart. You're just literally there to grind bot matches with different characters just to get
Right.
all
Okay.
the
That's weird.
battle pass awards, and it's just like, well, it's not so fun. Plus, I'm just getting a little bit tired with having to deal with microtransactions, and I thought,
Yeah.
it's no point. I'm just not getting much out of it. So I'd probably be. I am so close to like quitting on it. So once the new battle pass comes over and I use the remaining crystals to get it, then I'll
Yeah.
probably like, yeah, just drop out of it and just try something else. Probably train on Grounded or Overwatch 2.
Yeah. Are you playing it on Switch or are you playing it on Xbox or PC? Paladins.
Uh, well, mostly Xbox at the moment. The
Okay.
Switch is just a bit like a bit flimsy. It takes longer to
Yeah.
load, but I don't know if it's
Fair.
to do with my internet connection. But I think the Xbox is like probably the best version to play it
Well-
on, unless you're on PC, because that would be even better.
I've heard that apparently that if you play Overwatch on Xbox, you get first selection of characters because of the SSD. Because it loads quicker, you get first choice. I've heard that as a rumor, but I can't confirm or deny that is the case. But that's what some Xbox people have told me, that you can actually play. You get first dibs of the character select screen because it loads quicker apparently on Xbox than any other system apparently. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not sure how true that is, but that's what I've heard. So that's all I've been playing this week. Should we move on to the news, or was there anything else you
Yeah.
wanted? Yeah. So we got quite a lot of news to cover this week. We'll start off with one of the big news stories. Brazil has approved the APK deal, the Activision Blizzard King deal. Basically, it's amazing. I love it. It's like the greatest thing I've ever read in my entire life. They basically got all Jim Ryan's petty arguments that he was saying, like, where we can't compete and all that, and then Brazil have completely dismantled all his arguments. It's basically Brazil are basically saying what we've been saying. It's hilarious. I love it. It's like they were like saying stuff like, Call of Duty is not an essential game. You have options. They say Nintendo Switch is still successful without Call of Duty, so you don't need it. If Xbox made Call of Duty exclusive, it would damage them more than it would damage anyone else. Like, it would, so, like, calm down. They said they're going to give it to you and stuff. They basically just point out all the loopholes and showing how pathetic Jim Ryan is for PlayStation. It was beautiful. It was really, it is. I couldn't believe it when I read it, because I thought there's no way this is an official document from a country, like official business, and they're like saying like stuff like it's not our role to protect Sony / PlayStation's interest or their position. Even if Call of Duty or Activision catalog goes exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem, we do not believe that it will affect the market in an anti-competitive way. Competition is good for our consumers. So it's like basically just like pointing out that they're talking rubbish, which is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It makes me it makes me really joy, because I was really worried and concerned that they would listen to Jim Ryan and all the bollocks he's talking, like the complete rubbish. And they've basically gone, no, you're talking rubbish. We know you're just scared of competition. And they just completely dismantled it. It was brilliant.
Well, it's not much to me, because I think this whole thing is brought up because Jim Ryan and Sony is just like trying to cause up the fuss and try to disrupt their deal. But Microsoft has got the money to pay Activision. Yeah. They get it. It's just Sony is kicking up the fuss and trying to throw sand in their eyes. But I can say that I think the real possible obstacle to their deal is probably UK, because they have doubts about this kind of deal as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So, like, Jim Ryan, the stuff that basically Brazil have said that Jim Ryan's talking nonsense, essentially. But the UK kind of were backing up everything Jim Ryan was saying, which is really concerning. I'm really hoping that we're not going to be the stupid ones and we're not going to ruin it for everyone else. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, what are they going to do, the UK? Like, they're going to, like, they can't, like, stop the deal completely, because then Microsoft will go, well, we're not going to sell stuff in the UK anymore, and then we'd be screwed. Like, our whole podcast would be dead. I don't really know what would happen. Like, if it's approved everywhere in the world apart from the UK, I'm sure we're not going to be the ones to stop it, right? It's weird. I don't know what you think.
Well, the other countries don't particularly trust the UK anyway, so they'll probably disregard their opinion, since UK's been getting so cracked up. Like, other countries are, like, more concerned. I mean, just look at this government.
It's a complete joke, our government at the moment. It's hysterical how bad our country is at the moment. It is falling to pieces.
Just like their high courts. Remember that when they tried to get the medications away from trans kids? Oh, it's horrible. The High Court is like, oh, let's just go ahead with it. Oh, the evidence popped up. Never mind, they're doing the U-turn.
Yeah.
It just shows like how much UK tries to be more fair with the whole law, when obviously they're just making like a bunch of dumb decisions. But sorry, I just don't want to bring this up. But
yeah, no,
it's just the UK has really got a lot to piss us off with.
Yeah, and we've elected, like, apparently Liz Truss, who is our new Prime Minister, is apparently even more right-wing than Margaret Thatcher, and she was like the most right-wing politician we've ever had as Prime Minister. She's an idiot as well. Side of things. Like, basically, like they cut all tax breaks for millionaires, but charge more tax to the poor people. So essentially, if you're poor, you're fucked. If you're rich, then you just have more money. Trickle down economics. Yeah, right. Okay. Whatever. I don't believe that for 1 second. The rich are reinvested in this country. They never have. I don't know why they start now. It's ridiculous.
I think what Liz Truss could have been is that she could have been like James Ironwood from Ruby. Oh, sorry, General Ironwood. I don't want to get shot by him.
Okay, I don't know. Anyway. I've never seen Ruby, but yeah, I get what. But yeah.
But if anyone knows what I'm talking about, Ruby Volume 7 and 8, like, there's Atlas and there's Mantle. And what this basically is happening to UK men is being like this, because this trust is like trying to build Atlas, make the utopia for rich people. Yeah. And we're literally Mantle, and it's just like, oh, we're just completely being screwed over. and somehow we ran out of heating, and this is just what happens to Mantle in like volume 7 to 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's real life as well. That's the scary thing. They're basically like going, "Oh, you're too poor to pay heating. Tough shit, die." Basically, that's literally all this. It's like it's ridiculous. They don't care about the working class people in this country. I know we're gonna I don't want to really get political, but I'm just it's horrible.
And I don't really want to spoiler you, so I really recommend you watch volume 7 to 8 because you can definitely tell like how the government goes like a bit extra from like what Liz Truss is trying to do, and it's just like goes into full genocide. But I'm not going to reveal too much. But in fact, I forgot to mention like I finished Avatar: The Last Airbender or 3 books, and I learned about the Fire Nation. It's like interesting, and it deals with genocide, but
lovely.
Not totally related to that. But in positive news, that Chainsaw Man comes on Crunchyroll, which you need premium for. And so far, it's becoming like the best, like one of the best animes out there. The Chainsaw Man is just like about a guy who has a chainsaw for his head and for his wrists. It's just quite fun.
I think we got off tangent a little bit here, just a little bit.
I'm pretty bad with that.
So in good news, Brazil has approved Activision Blizzard's King, and so is Saudi Arabia. And I know Saudi Arabia, everyone thinks they're the best country for this kind of stuff. But I don't want to even get into Saudi.
Well, about the LGBT issues, that's a very different matter in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and also the killing of press and stuff, and all the corruption in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, let's not get into that. I know Brazil is kind of corrupt as well, but the fact that Brazil have been the most, they seem to literally they've said the right thing. They say the right things at the moment, so I'm on their side at the moment. I'm really shocked and proud of like that the way they stood up to Jim Ryan and completely said what you're saying is nonsense. So I'm happy about it. Yeah, the biggest threat is the EU and Britain when it comes to this deal, I think. Yeah.
Now let's change the subject by sending you a spaghetti photo.
Okay, I don't know what you
just sent it to you.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Speaking of the grass cat who's stoned. Okay. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh yeah, so like people might be going like, oh, well, what difference does it make with Brazil? But apparently Brazil held up the Disney Fox deal apparently as well, from what I've heard. So they were the reason why Fox Sports was separated from Fox movies with the merger of Disney, and that's why Fox Sports became its own thing. So Brazil have got the power to do stuff. So if they wanted to put their foot in and make it difficult for Microsoft, they could have done so. So that's a big hurdle we've jumped here. So hopefully we're getting close to it. I want free Call of Duty. That's like literally the reason I care. I want free Activision games on Game Pass. God damn it.
Yeah. Just trying to get the lyrics. Let's see. Who can we get in the case? We need Perry Mason again.
I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Okay.
You know that Ozzy Osbourne had sung about like Perry Mason? Sometimes you just call him to get this case all done.
Oh, okay. So in other news, let's change subject. CG Projekt Red have gone a bit crazy. They've done a Marvel or a Bethesda. They've given out a roadmap of the games they're going to be announcing for the next 10 years. They're like, yeah, like there's a new Marvel film. There's going to be the Kang Dynasty in like 3-4 years time. But yeah, CD Projekt Red have done that now with the Witcher stuff. They've announced The Witcher 4, which is going to be a trilogy that's going to be released over 6 years, and it's codenamed Polaris. They have Orion, which is a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. So what? Cyberpunk 2078, maybe? I don't know. They got Hador, or Hadar, which is a new game, a new IP for CG Projekt Red. Canis Majoris is another Witcher game. So they're releasing a Witcher trilogy and another Witcher game at the same time.
For a moment there, I thought I heard this like Cannabis Manuana.
Canis Major. They're all star signs, and then Sirius is a Molasses Flood game, which is going to be a Witcher game as well. They're known for making survival games. So I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about Grounded. They made.
So is it going to be flooded with molasses, which is like black treacle?
Ooh, that'd be lovely. The Molasses Flood is the name of the developer. They make survival games and they're making a Witcher game, so the odds are it's going to be a Witcher survivor game, which would be interesting. Or it could just be Witcher Kart, for all we know, or Witcher fighting game, who knows? But they're known for making survival games, so the odds are it'll be a Witcher survival game, which would be interesting. And then there's a Witcher trilogy, a Witcher spin-off, a Cyberpunk sequel, and a new game as well that they're making all at the same time. And they said the Witcher trilogy is going to be built, so there's a new one out every 2 years. Well, they said it's going to be 6 years. Over 6 years, there's going to be 3 new Witcher games. That's insane. So they've basically got crazy.
I would have to say that to all of those games from I think it's Project Red, I would say to them, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. I would say calm down a little bit. Chill out. Like,
I mean, the Cyberpunk 2077 is being launched with loads of bugs.
Exactly.
And I don't know all of them are being fixed up. So if they're going to bring out the Witcher 4, or rather the new trilogy, bring up a Cyberpunk sequel, and even coming up with a new original IP, it just seems as if they're dealing with 3 times the amount of projects. Wait a minute, 5 times the projects.
It's a lot of projects.
And it took them a while to get Cyberpunk made since.
It took about 7 years. I think it took like 7 years, and it still wasn't working when they made it. It was still broken. They said they're going to change engines. They said they've also opened a new studio in America with a lot of their staff moving over there. So there's a new studio. There's just like. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in for CG Projekt Red, especially when they've had such difficulty. Especially as you said, Cyberpunk's still broken in a lot of cases. They're releasing all these new games. It's kind of insane. Is there anything you're looking forward to, like a new Witcher game? Would that be like something you're looking forward to, or would you want a new Cyberpunk?
Not really.
No.
I think I'm just out of the loop with those things. Because the only game I bought is The Witcher 2 on Xbox 360. And I thought, this is quite nice. The UI is just iffy, but for the most part, it's just like, it's good. Nice to play through the story, and it's like nice.
Witcher 3 is really good. It's like Skyrim, but like third person, and it's like got a bit more like dense story, which I really like Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. And I want to get Cyberpunk again, but the price has gone up. It's gone up in price. I'm like, man, I was going to buy. I've been waiting for it to be like cheap. Ever since they've released this new anime, the Cyberpunk Blade Runners, I think they're called, on Netflix. The price of Cyberpunk 2077 has gone up in price now. Apparently, the new anime has brought a load of new people into the show. Like when they do the Witcher show on Netflix, apparently that brought in a load of new Witcher fans as well. So it's like, that's what Sony are trying to do now, and it's kind of annoying. They're like re-releasing The Last of Us and Horizon because they're making Horizon and The Last of Us TV shows. So they're hoping the TV shows will get more people to play the game, so they're re-releasing the games to get more people to play them. If that makes any sense? It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like they've already slashed the price by half like a few times. So now the fact is they raised the price up means it feels like it's a missed opportunity to get it for 25 quid on the Xbox store.
Yeah, I was going to buy it for 25 quid as well, and I'm not paying 50 for it. I'm not paying 50 for it. No, thank you. Might get it off Amazon or something. I played it quite a bit, but I bought Cyberpunk day one, got refunded my money back, and then I played the trial for a little bit because you can play a trial for a couple of hours. But wait, I want to do what I do want to try and get Cyberpunk again, but I don't want to get it when it's still buggy. I want to get it when it's like fixed, essentially. Everyone says it's more or less fixed now, which is nice. So I'm waiting for it to go down. I'm not paying £50. I'll wait for it to go down in price again, or to go on Game Pass, which is always an option for me. Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see what the survival game is going to be like in this new IP. But we kind of know what Witcher and Cyberpunk. We kind of know what to expect with those, I suppose, because they're known quantities, right? Witcher trilogy should be fun. Maybe you'll play as someone else. Instead of Gerald, you play as Ciri. Maybe she's a good character, so that'd be kind of cool.
So, Siri, well, are you talking about Cyberpunk or is it The Witcher?
The Witcher. Series of characters in The Witcher.
I only played like Witcher 2, and it's only like played with Geralt, and he's the only playable character in this, and you get to make choices. But then I didn't realise in Witcher 3 you can play as different characters. But I do apologise for not having the chance to play it, because it was like a huge thing in 2015. But I think I just ended up like having other things going on that I just completely missed out on it. Like, I go on this, and it's going to be a very long time before I catch up with Cyberpunk. And I do hope for it to come out for like 10 quid, because it is a kind of game that is like ends up with that.
I would like to play it on the cheap, yeah. Witcher 3, you play as Gerald in Witcher 3, but the spin-off, the sequel or the spin-off, we might play as new characters. We're not sure yet. They haven't confirmed or denied that yet, so I'm really curious to see what happens. But yeah, like, if like Xbox is kind of the home of the Western RPGs now. We have Avowed, Fable, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Starfield, Outer Worlds. So it's nice to see another company making some Western RPGs, because like otherwise it's all Xbox. We own every other one. Like, if you're a PlayStation owner or a PlayStation fan, you must be happy because there is actually some Western RPGs coming to PlayStation still, because we own all the rest of them on Xbox. So,
it's all this talk of like Western RPGs. So the Japanese RPGs.
Yeah, we don't have any Japanese RPGs on the Xbox, unfortunately, or very little anyway.
Check out that Game Pass. You definitely see Japanese RPGs, but these are mostly re-releases as far as I know.
Yeah, I mean, first party.
Otherwise, you get the indie ones like Chris Tales and stuff like that. But that's about it.
I say every week or most weeks, they need to buy Sega. It's as simple as that. We need Sega. Xbox, buy Sega so we can have some JRPGs. Get Persona day one on Xbox.
I wonder if we're going to be discussing about that every week now instead of
Probably.
Halo.
Well, yeah, that's not even... Halo, we'll usually talk about Halo multiplayer now. It's going to be Xbox buying Sega every week. That's the new weekly topic. When's it going to happen? I want it to happen. That's what I would do if I was Microsoft. So those are the two big news stories. So we're going to move on to our topic of the show. Yes.
Yep.
Topic of the show. I need to come up with a jingle or something. Today's topic of the show is Phil Spencer's shelf, which is behind me on the green screen. Phil Spencer leaked a brand new Xbox, the codenamed what was it called? Oh, I forgot the name of the codename now. Keystone. That's it. It was called codenamed Keystone. It's been rumored for a long time. It's right there above my head. You can barely see it. It's tiny, but it's essentially a small Xbox. Sorry.
For the moment, I thought it was about watching the paint dry, or regarded as a slow news day. But bear in mind, this is only for like a photo, and people just like made lots of assumptions of what's this going to be and what's it going to be like when
Yeah.
it's going to be like huge.
So, they have come out since and said that this is a prototype of the Keystone, and they're not going to release this version, and they might release one at a later date. So, yeah, I mean, it's a streaming device. It's a streaming box. It looks like the Series S, but smaller. Like, the Series S is already tiny, so this is like the size of about an iPhone, probably. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool idea. Like, if you got like a non-gamer in the family, but you want them to get an Xbox, you could just get them that. It's like 50 quid. Here you go. Here's a streaming box. You can play Call of Duty with us or whatever. You don't have to buy a new console. I mean, that's pretty sweet, I think. Especially
I
as I
think
said, go
I
on.
think this is similar to the PlayStation TV. Like,
Yeah,
it's a small thing, but it's got a internal sort of PS Vita which you can play on the TV. And I
right.
feel this is the same one with Xbox, except I think it kind of appears as if it's meant for streaming only. What do you think?
It's a streaming only. Yeah, it's supposed to be a streaming only box. So I mean, it's funny because like when we did our E3 predictions last year or the year before, like basically when we started the podcast, I was on about Xbox is going to release a streaming stick and they're going to release a streaming handheld console, and both of those things are happening. We got the Logitech handheld GeForce, 300 quid for a streaming handheld, not good. But when it's a start, we'll get there eventually, and then we'll get the Keystone eventually as well. So it's instead of like a what's it called, a Google Chrome or whatever they're called, or like an Apple TV, it's the Xbox version of that. So it's just a streaming box, so you'll probably be able to use Netflix and stuff on it as well. But it would be like a Netflix, YouTube, and all that, and then also streaming your Xbox games on there. And it'd just be Game Pass enabled. So obviously, when Call of Duty's on Game Pass, that's going to be a big seller, I think. Like if you say to oh, I want to play Call of Duty with my friends, it's like 50 quid for a little tiny box with a controller. You can play as much Call of Duty as you want. Like I think that's going to be a bargain. I think. I mean, how much do you think it's going to
Well,
cost? I think it's going to be about 100 quid, would be my guess. What do you
well,
think?
I would have to button first that you mentioned about like watching Netflix and stuff like that. So I just wondered, like, well, how do I put it? It's just like, um, is it going to be like a same interface you get on the Xbox that runs from the box, and then you only like get to choose options which only allows you to stream? Like, do you think this could work in this very tiny box there? I mean, the thing is, like, it's something you like. Chromecast is it's a little dongle that you plug
Yeah,
into your TV and does only like streaming
yeah.
and has a very simple interface. In fact, it's just a desktop and then you stream stuff onto it. But if it's going to be a bigger box, then obviously they get some more bigger internals. So I don't think it's just limited for getting the best performance out of your control interface. It could be like something extra.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, like, I'm hoping that they'll have a better user interface than the Xbox, like what we have at the moment. It seems it'd be a bit complicated for newcomers. I feel like this is going to be designed for the casual market. Like, I feel like they want to get people like us on the Xbox Series X and the Series S. They want to get the more hardcore gamers involved, and I feel like this is like their next step after that. It's like trying to get more casual people in, like mobile gamers or like lapsed gamers or like older gamers, or even younger ones like kids. Like if you like go, I got the family plan on Game Pass, and my nephew wants an Xbox. Get him the streaming box for 50 quid plus a controller, so it'd be 100 quid altogether. I mean, like the box itself is gonna be like 50. This is my prediction, probably wrong. I think the box is gonna be about 50 quid, and then 50 quid for a controller on top, so like 100 quid, or you could buy it without a controller if you already have a controller.
Yes.
That's what I think probably, because the thing is you have the Series S, which is 250 quid. So it's got to be cheaper than the Series S for it to be worthwhile, and it's got to be considerably cheaper. Otherwise, what's the point? Why would you just buy a Series S? because it does. You can actually play games natively on the Series S, whereas you can't on this streaming box. So it's got to be priced like cheaply, you'd think. Plus, Xbox want to get Game Pass on everyone's TV. They want Game Pass to be everywhere. So I think they're going to take the loss on the price of the. I think they're going to sell this for as cheap as they possibly can, just to get it in people's houses, essentially. Like even if you're a PlayStation owner, they basically want people who are like PS5 owners who are like hardcore Sony fans who are going to be like, I'd never buy an Xbox console, but I'll pay £50 to play Call of Duty on a streaming stick. I think people would do that. I think like if you want to get people to buy a second box, selling it at such a cheap price is probably the idea. I think this is a good idea for Xbox. I still think this is a bit soon though, because I don't think cloud streaming is quite there yet. It's still got a bit of latency, still not quite like the internet in the UK, the internet globally is still not at that level. Like we need like 6G, 7G, 8G or whatever it's going to be for it to be really effective. I think it's the right direction. I feel like Netflix is like how people watch TV now, is like streaming. So gaming is probably going to go the same route, but I feel like we're still not quite there technology-wise. I mean, Google Stadia kind of proved that by like dying out already. That it's not quite there. It's going to be a good option though. It's a good option to have.
I still remain in saying that Google always does projects as a matter of experiment, then something they're likely to take it seriously to give it a long lifespan, because they have built and got rid of projects before. So
for sure. I mean, this is the metaverse and all that stuff. That's Facebook now is metaverse. But I think the streaming box is a good idea. I think I will probably end up buying one at some point, so I can play my Xbox games in a different room. But I don't know I don't think we're quite there yet. I think it's still, we need another 2 or 3 years of prototyping to get the streaming quite there. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't think my internet's good enough for it, and I think I got decent internet. I feel like people on lower income households who have basic internet are not going to be able to play games on this thing. That's the catch. That's the thing with this. The catch with it really is that it's designed to be cheap, and it's a cheap alternative for gamers. But you need to have really good internet for it to be effective. So it kind of, you need to have expensive internet for this cheap box to work properly. It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it?
That's right.
It needs to be a bit more ubiquitous.
My internet is still bad enough to not stream, because I've been trying to stream Halo Master Chief Collection on my Xbox in my flat. Then I can't actually play it without having like still pictures and scrolling bits there. And the thing is, it's just like I just can't even get to play the game without getting stuck in the middle of the game and then falling off the map. And it just shows that I am not ready to stream Xbox games on it. But when I went to my parents' house, which they got fast internet, now they're going to upgrade to ultra fast internet on November, and I can stream games on on the super fast broadband. They got it working, but then like in places like Cornwall, you get really absolutely bad internet in some places, which means you can't even stream 4K.
Yeah,
it's bad.
The global internet infrastructure is not quite there yet for this. It'd be good for someone like you, though, as you just said. Like, if you go visit your parents, instead of carrying your Xbox Series X, you just take this little box with you. You can play Xbox games while you're with your parents without having to lug the giant Xbox with you everywhere. I mean, that would be kind of cool. And they got decent internet, so that wouldn't be a problem. But for the average consumer, I feel that we're still not quite at that level yet. That's what I think they've said, that they're not going to be releasing it anytime soon. They're still tinkering with it. So it might not even look like this when it eventually releases. It might be something completely different. I mean, we've got Samsung.
I think we're just gonna have. I think they're just gonna have to leave it as just like a possibility. They might have something like this and say, oh, we can just redesign it so it'll be like a smaller version of Xbox S because it's got a button
Yeah,
at the top. But I
yeah,
think once they like improved it, got the better exterior, and say it's like, oh, you can stream stuff on in this little tiny box that you can get for less, then
yeah,
that's fine. But it's got to be offered to Wales or anyone who lives at places where there's fast internet. And they're
yeah.
the ones who's going to most benefit from it, so they don't have to pay so much for the console when obviously they're living in richer places where they can get faster broadband.
Exactly. I mean, if you're in like a country that's in poverty, and you haven't got very good internet, I don't think this is ideal for you. Really, I feel like the
Mm.
Series S is the go-to console still. Ironically, yeah, I'm excited to see it though when they eventually announce it when it eventually comes out. I feel like this is going to be the third SKU. Maybe like this will be the next thing that they announce like in like 2-3 years time. I said I would love an Xbox handheld as well, which is like streaming, which would be sick. It would be really cool. But I'm not paying £300 for a Logitech version of that. That's ridiculous. If there was an Xbox official one and it was like £100, £200, like £100, 150 for a handheld that streams games, I would totally buy that. But £300 too much.
Well, well, that's the thing. Like, if you're stuck between that or the Nintendo Switch OLED
Yeah.
edition, I would say to go for the Switch one because
Oh yeah.
you can do a lot more than just streaming. Whereas the
True
Xbox One,
stative.
if it's only like stream, then what else is going to be filled with it? Are you going to like have better functionality or stuff like that?
Probably
No,
not.
just go for Switch LED because
That's
there's
true.
already cloud-based games that you can get on it. Like
That's true.
it just makes sense, no brainer.
I mean, that's another thing. That's a good point that you mentioned when you mentioned the Nintendo Switch LOAD. For years, it's been rumored that Xbox is going to get Game Pass onto the Switch. So maybe that's what they're still trying to do. If we can get Game Pass on Switch, is the best of both worlds, isn't it? Because then we can stream my Xbox games to my Switch, and I would still have the native Switch games, which like Breath of the Wild. Well, what's it called? Tears of the Kingdom, aka Breath of the Wild 2 and stuff, and then I'll still be able to play like Starfield via streaming on my Switch. I mean, if that would be the ideal one, if you could cloud stream your Game Pass games to Switch, that's another option as well. I mean, that's something that I think
Yeah,
Xbox
like
wants to do.
yeah, definitely like get to arrange Xbox Game Pass to be available for Nintendo Switch, and this will solve a lot of problems. The only thing is that it's an Xbox Game Pass, so unless Nintendo has to like come up with a better service for offering downloads of games than this any than SNES or SNES games,
Yeah,
then chances are with Xbox Game Pass, you're not going to get Nintendo games on because it
oh
would be
no,
anti-competitive to do that. Otherwise, I would be totally down to try Pokemon Arceus without having to pay 40 quid just before Pokemon Violet comes out. But as I would say to you, I'm very looking at buying Pokemon Violet and
yeah.
getting some Pokemon because I think I keep hearing some really good things about it.
I've been avoiding trailers for Violet basically. I know I've already know I'm already buying it, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers for it. Really, I don't want to really see any of the new Pokemon. I want to just discover it on my own. I always find that way more enjoyable when I'm discovering it myself. But yeah, the Switch is an amazing console. I love my Switch. I adore the Switch. So if I could have a Switch that also plays my Xbox games, I would be like over the moon. I would be ecstatic with that. Obviously, it wouldn't be as good as having a native Xbox console, and I think that's how it would work. It'd be a streaming app. It wouldn't have any. It wouldn't have any native games to the Switch. You just have streaming games. So you could probably have like the Master Chief Collection, Halo Infinite, and then like just basically the Xbox exclusives on the Switch app. I don't know. It's been rumored for a while because there was an interview with Sarah Bond when there was like a Nintendo Switch in the background, and it was on a staging area. It's like like as I said, Phil Spencer shows him his shelf off, and there's always got stuff like little secrets on there. It was in a studio that they had a Switch on a shelf behind Sarah Bond, so there's obviously something going on with Switch, but they're still not quite ready to talk about it. I mean, that might be what the key.
Yes.
Maybe that might be what the Keystone might be. It might be like I don't know. it's interesting. I'm really interested to see where the future of Xbox goes. It's really cool that like 'cause PlayStation to kind of lock everything to the console, whereas I like the fact that Xbox are kind of like open to put their games on everything, and I think that's really rad. I love that. Like I love having it like that I can play my games on PC or I can cloud stream them, or I'm hopefully gonna be able to cloud stream them onto other devices soon. Fingers crossed. I
Yeah,
if the Keystone was 50 quid, would you buy it?
I don't know
I think
because
I would.
I think if it's, I think the chances are if they're going to be selling it for 50 quid, you have to buy a controller with it.
Yeah, so
Unless you
100
have
then.
a spare one yourself.
Yeah.
But I just do already have a bit of anxiety over Xbox controllers because
True.
the Design Labs controller broke on me and I got
Yeah.
refunded for it. And I'm not going through the process of ordering another Design Labs controller unless I win it in a competition, which means I'm better off like buying one of those pre-made controllers from the shop.
Yeah.
But I think if the Keystone thing you speak of, like if it doesn't have any USB ports for it for the matter, then it's just going to be like it just kind of harms the like because you don't have so many alternative wireless controllers unless you're willing to pay extra for a few branded ones. You're just going to be stuck with an Xbox controller, which means you have to buy the official Xbox controller as your best option for it. So
Yeah.
I just feel that this is likely to not say beneficial for everyone. Like, if it's meant to be a cheap solution, then it's not going to be it. You have to be in the fast internet area. You're most likely to use Xbox's own equipment unless they add USB ports in, or even better, have an Ethernet port in, just like with PlayStation TV, I imagine, which they got one.
I think I think they will have ports. Yeah.
So if they do have those things on it, then it's better. But I just feel that this is not likely to be most beneficial for people who wants to buy the Xbox on the cheap, unless they are really privileged.
True. I feel like the people who are going to buy the Keystone, people who are like option A, me, someone who likes to have all the technology and like basically already has an Xbox and just wants to have another box for either going when I visit my family in Australia, take the Keystone with me, or have it for my office or for the downstairs TV, or there's going to be people who are PlayStation diehards who want to play one or two Xbox games and don't want to buy a console to play one or two Xbox games and will prefer to buy that instead. So like if they're like really diehard PlayStation fans but they want to play Starfield or Redfall or something, then they go, oh, I'll just buy this Keystone instead. I think they want to aim it at casual gamers, but I don't think casual gamers, you need good enough internet for it to work, so it doesn't really appeal to casual gamers at the moment. Maybe in another 3 or 4 years it will do, but at this moment in time I don't think it really appeals to the casual. I think you still have to be quite hardcore for it to be a thing you would buy.
I think to me, I think my approach to having a cost-effective Xbox solution is. Sorry, I just like this interrupted you so much
about
this whole subject.
No, it's good. It's good conversation.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks. I've always been dreaming that the Sega Mega Drives and Super Nintendos, like you just have this simple console that lets you only play games on it.
Yeah.
I just feel that Xbox should come up with a system that's like PlayStation TV, but a little bit slightly large. But it offers wired controllers. You put CDs or cartridges in, and you play indie Xbox games. And that way, it'll be like Xbox Live Arcade, where it's designed where you can only play those sort of games, and not like bigger games on it. Because that way, it's just like it's cost effective. It doesn't rely on the latest technology like wireless technology or like online dependency. Just like back to the basics where it focuses on one thing, and that's focusing on the games. Also, if it has an interface like a Switch, then it only shows you the games, but also has another option to show media applications. So I just think it's just like, yeah, this is definitely one system that you can get to set up on your TV. You hook up some wireless controllers and you just enjoy games without having to be so concerned about achievements, the online stuff. I just feel that when you have the Xbox 360, like you have the arcade edition, which only comes with a wired controller and you only use memory cards. I think this is actually quite nice, and I like that one. But you just feel like you need to get a premium Xbox because you benefit from the hard drive, you benefit from the wireless controller, and it's going to be a system where you'll be expected to use internet. Whereas the Xbox Arcade Edition is meant to play Xbox Live Arcade games, but then you can't really fit those on the memory, a lot of them on a memory card, unless you have a hard drive to go with it. So it's just like trying to mix the confusion of things, and somehow treats it as if, oh, it's just like the PlayStation 2, but all you need is a memory card, a CD, and use it to play games on it. And that's before internet became so sophisticated that you can just like get the Xbox 360 with a hard drive on. You play games with the internet connection, and it is part of your experience. And that's what most people went for it. But that's what true. I mean is, it's just like have something that is like the PlayStation 2, where you play games, you don't have to worry about the online Xbox Live in the interface, and just treat it as if it's just an ordinary games console. I'm not saying it as if it's a cheap and simple solution, but I think. Sorry.
No, it's
trapped
out.
I'm drinking like orange juice.
I agree with you in a lot of ways there. I mean, like I do miss the good old days where you literally just stick a game in and it just plays. Like, oh, it's a day one patch that's going to take 6 hours to download, or oh, you have to download this, or there's like you have loads of adverts on your opening screen and stuff, and it's like, yeah, I miss that. So I mean, like, I kind of get what you're saying, but obviously that would be like you'd be losing a lot of functionality with that. So it's kind of a
exactly that's the problem, because
I get what you're saying. I just think though, for sure,
because I think it's just like saying PS Vita is fantastic for like indie games, and that's because it's built with indie games. Well, it was built with indie games in mind, except it's supposed to be a powerful machine where you play games that Uncharted on, but it ended up becoming a more popular platform for playing indie games on. Which I was just saying, like, yes, it is definitely going to be like, how do I put it? It is going to be like you only be getting it for the indie games when the whole purpose is something a bit more extra. And I get, like, what I'm proposing, you don't get any functionality, and you will be required to get the more powerful consoles for, and it would lead people to, like, question about this whole console. Like, if it's only used to play, like, Xbox 360 or indie games, I think it just seems like as if you're buying a half-assed console that only plays some of the games there. And this is indeed a risk, but I think the reason I see it is that because of the lots of smaller games that comes out of the system, and quite often they don't have like huge updates, it could serve as a much less hassle console experience that you can play on. Anyway, I know I'm just dreaming, and because of these cons and everything like that, it's just the thing is, unfortunately, it's how do I put it? It's just unfortunately it's not going to happen because I think people would have a huge issue about this kind of system and feels as if they need to have a console with all the trimmings. Hence, Xbox will probably expect you to get Series S as a means to like have that similar kind of experience. And there's already people who bought the Series S to put emulation software on. And it's like,
that's true. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, or they could release a Xbox Classic that they did with the Nintendo's, like a smaller miniature version with the controllers plugged in. Obviously, the only thing is, like, with your scenario is obviously if you're buying cartridges or discs and stuff with indie games on it, obviously how would the indie developers afford to print these things onto disc and onto the cartridge. Like that's the thing with digital distribution is good for indie games because obviously they don't have to pay for postage and packaging and physical media. So I mean, if that they works better with a digital interface. I mean, I kind of think the Switch is kind of what you're saying. A lot of that is because it doesn't really have the Netflix functionality or anything like that. It literally is pretty much a gaming machine. The Switch, you can't really do much else with it apart from play games. So
I think, but
I don't know. I don't know.
I think how you framed it, it's just like, yeah, this is pretty much like if you want to have that similar kind of experience, go for the Switch.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they do a PlayStation TV version of it where it doesn't have a screen and only connects to the TV. That'd be great. But instead, they offered like Switch Lite, which only strictly is a handheld, and I think that's a bit of a deal killer for me because I would rather have a Switch that I can play on the TV all the time. And I was just thinking, why not just have something that connects only to the TV? Oh no, they won't allow for that. Also, Nintendo are in the market where people prefer to play portable games than to have them connected to the TV. So you could definitely tell like how Nintendo is likely to say, oh, I'm sticking with like handhelds because it is a popular type of thing in Japan to have those type of things. I might be wrong, of course, because I think people would prefer to play it on the monitors or TV. But I think they would most likely to have like PlayStation 4 or even like PC. Or if they got space for it, like PlayStation 5. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much.
I mean, apart from the Wii, the Nintendo home console has never sold as well as the handheld consoles. Like the Game Boy, the DS, the 3DS all sold better than their console counterparts. So, I mean, that's the main reason why Nintendo's got it mainly portable, because they sell more portable consoles than they do handheld home consoles. Like the Wii U was a massive failure for them. So as I said, apart from the Wii, which was like the exception to the rule, every other console has not done as well as their handheld counterparts. So that's probably why the Switch is more focused on the handheld part instead of the home console. I personally agree with you though. I prefer home consoles to handhelds because that's what I grew up with. But you know, I get what you're saying. So the Keystone, interesting idea. Don't know if they're going to release it anytime soon. I would buy it if it came out, if it's a reasonable price. If it was like nearly £200, then I probably wouldn't buy one. But if it was around the £100 mark, I would probably get it. I think that's a decent device to have in another room, just so like you can keep playing your games. It's a nice bit of technology, but I don't think it's it's going to appeal to the casual market like Xbox hoping it will, because internet is not quite there yet. That's my opinion when it comes to the Keystone. How do you feel about the Keystone? Was that something you would be interested in, or is it just a no from you straight up, and you would just stick to the S? Or
Well, first of all, I would say, like, I don't have at the moment got any legitimate space to put a streaming device on. Like, there might be a few places that can do that, but as for my flat, like, if it's useful for me to stream games on and stream it on Twitch, then I could have this set up with my PC, but it would be better to have a Series S for that matter, which I'm not going to be able to have a lot of money for it. But, I mean, if I have the space and do anything, then I could see this being useful if I have internet. But right now, the amount of games you have on the Xbox Game Pass, then you're only limited to those, because if you have games you own, but it's not part of a Game Pass, you can't stream them. You have to get to play them on the Xbox Series X and S. So therefore, the Keystone may not have a lot of functionality, like how my console idea is not likely to have a lot of functionality because you can't play powerful games on it. So it's just like trying to deal with which sacrificial means to get the console on the cheap, when you could end up saving money for either Xbox Series S or Xbox Series X.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're paying over £100 for this thing, if it was like £150, I would just say get the Series S. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like it has to be really cheap for it to be worthwhile. I don't think it's worthwhile buying if there's only like £100 between this and the Series S. You're better off going for the upgrade. You know, having it native. You know, and then as you said, you have access to other games as well. You don't have to stream everything. I think you're right there. I'm really intrigued to see what if they ever do release it though, or if they do release a handheld. I want to see what Xbox have planned next. I would love to see the next 10 years of Xbox, but unfortunately we're on the outside looking in, so we don't know what Xbox have got planned. But I'm really curious to see what they got planned next. So I think that's it for today's episode. Unless there's anything else you wanted to add.
Well, we were going to have a short episodes, but turns out the streaming box serves a huge chunk of this podcast.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I thought there's not going to be much of it, and I thought, oh, it's only just a leak. But now we just like have so much interest in it because this streaming box has a lot of possibilities. When it's probably going to end up serving a niche than going for the mass population, because the mass population is going to be like, why go for that if you can just get Xbox Series S without having to worry about the internet all the time? But
why get a Series S when I can play Candy Crush on my phone? So that's what most popular. I can play Diablo Immortal on my phone instead of playing Diablo 4. Oh no!
If you get a cheap ass Android phone for that, yeah.
Mobile gamers I'm gonna pay £600 for a phone so I can play games for £1 and pay microtransactions. I don't get that logic. I'm a console gamer, pure and bred Xbox gamer. But yeah, that's it for today. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Would you buy a Keystone? How much would you pay for one? Let us know in the comments below if you would get one. Are you excited for The Witcher to come back? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe and share this video with your mother and your auntie and your cousin and your second cousin, because we need to get this channel growing, because it's still quite small and we want to try and get out there. So if you just share it with your friends and family, we would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. I'm going to leave the last word up to you, Alice. What would you like to say before we go?
That I think it really made my day to having this podcast done. Plus, I don't have a webcam on, but you may have otherwise saw me smiling because I've shown Kaden some fan art of her, and she was like so pleased.
We're all smiling now.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Thanks for joining. Obviously, you didn't really want the webcam on today, which is fair enough. It's been one of those kind of weeks this week. But tune in next week and we will have more Xbox news for you guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye. Too sweet.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.